Hello guys, and happy Sunday to all of your sunshiny faces. So guys, today was graduation day for my cousin, and let's just say I didn't really have a chance to record today. So we woke up at I woke up at like 8 o'clock I think, and we had to leave at 9. So I woke up, well, I think I woke up at 7:30, and then my mom did my hair and makeup, and I got dressed and, you know, put on nice clothing and all of that kind of stuff, which my hair is already like completely gone by now. And yeah, so anyways guys, though, I kind of wanted to do like a run through of what went on today, and I am just exhausted. But first off, this dog, my dad fed her when he got home from work today, and she came to me thinking that I was gonna feed her for a second time. So she comes up to me and like is looking at her bowl like she thinks that I'm gonna feed her again, even though she already ate dinner. Bliss, come here. You already ate. No, you silly goose. No, you silly goose. She thinks I'm gonna feed her twice, and I'm not. I'm just not, Bliss. You already was fed once. You're not being fed twice. You funny dog. What really happened, I'll tell you guys the whole graduation story. It was kind of crazy, but I told you guys in yesterday's vlog that my cousin was graduating, and so this morning when we woke up, right, we left at 9 o'clock, and we left the house at 9 o'clock. It's like 2.5 hours away or so. It's about the same distance to my grandparents' house, which is not her related family. So it's about the same distance though as when we went to when we go to my grandparents' house. So it's like about 2.5 hours. It's like central Illinois kind of. And so we drove 2.5 hours, and we got there by a little bit before noon, or like right around noon I think we ended up getting there. And she was just on her way to leave. The ceremony was at 1 o'clock I believe. We got to her apartment, and we had heard that it was going to be rained out, like it was most likely going to be a rain cancellation, that it wasn't going to be outside, it was going to be inside. So the spots were limited as to who could actually sit in the like actual room, stadium, gymnasium thingy or whatever it was, that they were actually having the graduation. So I think it was like limit like 5 tickets or something like that. So it was her mom, her brother, her boyfriend, and then her grandma. I believe those were the 5 that ended up going. Everybody else had to sit in like a different room and either watch it on like the screens or like monitors. I think they had like maybe projectors or something like that. So my aunt and uncle and their 4 kids ended up going, and then my uncle, who is her grandpa, and my grandma ended up going separate, and then sat in a different like room, stadium. I think it was a different building actually. So then my aunt and uncle and their 4 kids ended up being in the same building but in a different room. So we ended up then going later after the graduation, which was over at 3 o'clock. So we stayed at her apartment until afterwards. And it was a little bit hectic just because like everything was kind of being like picked up because they were moving out I think tomorrow, like almost all of them. So it was like things were kind of everywhere. We were pretty much able to just watch TV and like sit on the couch, which was completely fine. So we did that for about 2 or so hours until we ended up going then over for the reception, which was after graduation. So then we went there, and it was crazy because there was like 5,000 people in this one room, which wasn't the room they graduated in. It was the other room where they were having some people wait, that my aunt and uncle and their kids ended up going to that room, and they were waiting. So we were standing there for like probably a good half an hour or so, because we didn't want to go in there because then we ended up meeting up with my uncle and my grandma at the other building, met up with them, went to the building where the graduation was being held, and then my grandma, she has a cane, she can walk, but she actually had apparently broken a foot in her bone. A bone in her foot. One doctor said she didn't break anything, another doctor said she did. She was like in a like boot kind of thing, but she was completely fine to walk apparently. And so she has a cane anyway that she ended up using. We really have no clue entirely what was going on with the whole thing, but we didn't want to do too much moving around if we couldn't find anybody. So then we get there and we see this gigantic swarm of people, and it was like, where's Waldo? Seriously, it was crazy. So we're trying to find my cousin because I also had a letter that she wanted to give to one of her professors. So I brought that from her apartment, which she had forgotten. So I brought it with me to give to her professor. So I had to make sure that I found her before the reception was over. So we were luckily able to finally find them. They were all the way at the opposite end from where we were, which I did have a picture of it because I thought it was crazy. And then also too, my aunt, which is her grandma, ended up wearing a hat that looked like a peacock. I'm not joking. I also have a picture of that too, guys. Which everybody was kind of like poking fun at it. My cousin was saying like that it's not the Kentucky Derby, and like nobody was in hats like whatsoever. But my aunt is very like Downton Abbey kind of thing. So yeah, she was wearing that. So that's really what we were looking for. We were looking for the peacock in the haystack kind of thing, and we couldn't find them. Finally, I saw my little cousin, one of my littlest cousins. Surprisingly, they were in the back, and I think she had like a jacket or something like that, and she tossed it up in the air, and that's how I actually spotted them all the way across. And then I saw my uncle was standing there on the phone, and then my cousin had just texted me then and told me that they were by the flag. So then we went all the way across to the other end of the building and was able to find them. Then luckily, we were able to get there. Then, after the reception, I got the letter to her. Everything was fine. We got to the reception. There was some, like, food and stuff like that to eat and drinks and stuff. Then we ended up going from there back to her apartment because some people had to pick up cars and stuff like that because a few of us walked over. My grandma and my uncle, the one with the broken foot, ended up walking to the college, which is only, like, 2 blocks away or something like that. They're super, super close to the campus. They walked there, then we weren't going to have my grandma walk back, so it was a whole shuffle of who was driving in cars and stuff like that. Then they all ended up going. We walked back to the apartment, got the cars, and then we went out to dinner at this really nice restaurant that was called Tony Roma's. I thought it was Tony Romo. And I was informed it was not the Cowboys quarterback. So, it was a restaurant we ended up going to, and we actually then had dinner. I had a salad and baked potato because there was nothing on the menu that I could distinctly define as being vegetarian, so I couldn't really eat anything on there entirely. But a salad, ended up having a salad and baked potato, which was fine because I actually had a lot of carbs earlier today, like driving in the car the whole way, so a salad was perfectly fine. And then I had like a half of the baked potato. I brought the other half home, so I didn't even have like a whole lot of it. That's what I ended up having. And then they also had this amazing artichoke dip, which was like insanely delicious, which was like the appetizer. And then there was dessert too. We ended up, I think it was like, there wasn't that many people. It was just her mom's side of the family that ended up going to the graduation, so that's who ended up going out to dinner then afterwards. And then as we were leaving in the like reception room or whatever it was, the main lobby, they had these elephants, which my mom took pictures of with me, of course, because you guys know how much I love elephants. It was a hotel and a restaurant, so we ended up we're going and eating at the restaurant, and then in the hotel lobby there was these elephants, which is where the bathrooms were, so some people had to go. So yeah, we ended up going in there. But it was a pretty fun experience, and I'm super happy for my cousin. She is now going to further her studies at Roosevelt College, I believe, in Chicago, which was actually where the NFL draft was taking place for all of you sports people, because, you know, everything comes back full circle to sports. Yeah, and then we also, too, were watching the Cubs game, which they ended up losing in overtime by 1 run. So, yeah, that was sad, but I'm sorry today's vlog was just kind of like, oh my goodness, it was just kind of like craziness. We were in the car, and I wanted to start the vlog when we were in the car, but we were kind of jamming out because we don't want my mom to fall asleep in the car, either on the ride home or kind of on the ride there either, because it was pretty early, well, not super early in the morning, but you know, everybody was kind of falling asleep, so we don't want my mom to fall asleep, so we have music on, and for copyright reasons I can't vlog like while we're in the car if there's music on in the background, obviously. So for the most part, so yeah, I didn't really get a chance to start the vlog, and then by the time we got there, we were at my cousin's apartment. I didn't really feel comfortable like vlogging at her apartment without her being there either, so that's kind of why I didn't vlog today until now. But it was just, that's the graduation story too. So super excited for my cousin, who is now going to, like I said, further her studies as well, and a big congratulations to her. So I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, though, make sure you guys give it a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. So bye guys. Oh yeah, I get way too frustrated. Like, my patience is like this much when it comes to hair. So like, if it is something that I have to do over and over and over again to try and get it right, I probably won't be able to do it. So yeah, braiding just barely can do it. But what I was thinking was having my mom braid it while it was wet, so that then I can spray it with hairspray, and then most likely in the morning it will come out all nice and like wavy. That's the plan, and then I can just kind of touch it up with a curling iron, because curling irons I don't like using if I don't have to. I've been talking for 15 minutes and you've been sitting there thinking that you're still going to eat. I'm sorry, no, you're not eating.